Hello and welcome to news on NTA International. I'm Nancy Godi Angunihu, and on sign language is Hannah Olayinka. First, the headlines. Niger coup leaders vow to prosecute President Mohamed Bazoum for alleged treason as United Nations harps on respect for human rights. Researchers come up with alternative to wheat flour in making confectionaries. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu commends Super Falcons for impressive outing at 2023 Women's World Cup. And now the news in full. Niger's military leaders have vowed to prosecute President Mohamed Bazoum for alleged treason and criticized West African leaders for imposing sanctions against the country. Let's get details from Adebola Brookslane.
Spokesperson to the junta, Amado Abdurrahmani, says the military leaders will prosecute Bazoum for undermining the internal and external security of Niger. The West African bloc ECOWAS last week approved the deployment of a standby force to restore constitutional order in Niger as soon as possible, but claimed that it remains committed to finding a diplomatic solution to the crisis.
Tout état de cause, le gouvernement nigérien a réuni.
The government of Niger has to date gathered the necessary evidence to prosecute before the national and international authorities the ousted president, his local and international accomplices before undermining local and international security of Niger.
Meanwhile, Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights has urged those who detained President Mohamed Bazoum to respect and protect the human rights of those detained. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk said UN felt concerned after learning about the poor living conditions of those detained in Niger, including the president and his family.
Je suis extrêmement préoccupé.
I am concerned about the rapidly deteriorating conditions in which President Mohamed Bazoum, his wife and his son have been arbitrarily detained in violation of international human rights law. I have received reports that electricity has been cut and they have no access to clean drinking water amid hot temperatures in Niger.
De toute personne détenue.
The coup, the third of its kind in the West African country in 3 years, has drawn condemnation from many African countries and others outside the continent, which view the unconstitutional change of power as a threat to stability and development on the continent. Adebola Brookslane, NTA News.
Meanwhile, ECOWAS has learnt with stupefaction attempts to bring charges of high treason against Mohamed Bazoum, President of the Republic of Niger. ECOWAS condemns this move, noting that it represents yet another form of provocation and contradicts the reported willingness of the military authorities in the Republic of Niger to restore constitutional order through peaceful means. President Bazoum remains the democratically elected president of the Republic of Niger, recognized by ECOWAS and the international community. ECOWAS condemns his illegal detention and calls for his immediate release and reinstatement. Now, traders and merchants in West Africa have decried the impact of sanctions on Niger and how it is affecting movements of goods and services in the Sahel region. Owing to this, Nigeria is said to be losing more than 10 billion naira weekly. Details with Musa Aliyu.
It has been estimated that Nigeria is losing about 13 billion naira worth of business and trade as a result of sanctions imposed on Niger Republic. 7 states of Katsina, Kebbi, Zamfara, Sokoto, Jigawa, Yobe and Borno share border and are involved in daily trade and business with Niger worth billions of naira. Chairman Arewa Economic Forum Ibrahim Yahaya Dakata in a press conference says trade between Niger and Nigeria is mostly informal, especially in perishable goods, food items and livestock worth 177 billion naira. All these businesses have been suspended as the border closed and movement of goods and services restricted.
Appealing for the federal government and the national security advisor to intervene for the other alternative that we're looking for the solution. Things are going worse for us now, more especially with the people of the entirely north. We're talking about north in general. We don't have any access to cross our consignment for now, unless we now carry our consignment down to Semi, which is not proper for us. For us to carry that consignment to Semi, it going to cause us a damage because our container has come on transit.
The Arewa Economic Forum therefore says the economic consequences of the closure is becoming unbearable for traders, with negative impacts on the social well-being of the people. The forum says since the closure of the border, about 2,000 containers laden with perishable and non-perishable goods have been trapped and cannot be cleared due to the closure. To this end, the Arewa Economic Forum is appealing to the federal government to consider the reopening of Ilo border, which shares boundary with Benin Republic through Kebbi State. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
And to speak more on the Nigerian-Niger border closure and its effect on the economy is the chairman of Arewa Economic Forum, Ibrahim Yahaya Dandakata. Mr. Dandakata, you're welcome to
Thank you so
NTA
much.
International.
Thank you so much.
How is the sanction on Niger Republic actually affecting business between Niger and Nigeria, as well as other countries in the sub-region?
Well, you know that the Republic of Niger share a very long contiguous border with Nigeria, and historically the people on both sides of the border have been together without despite the drawing of the imaginary border line that's there. And 70% of the population of Niger lives on the southern side of their border, southern side of their country. That's on the border of Nigeria and Niger. The people between those places have been trading for centuries, and mostly the goods go from Nigeria to Niger. So mostly the goods are from Nigeria.
So at this moment, you say which country is losing more? Is it Niger or Nigeria?
Obviously, it's Nigeria. Obviously, it's Nigeria because we are the biggest producers. We have a larger economy. The GDP of Nigeria is just about 34 billion US dollars, while the GDP of Nigeria is about 500 billion US dollars. So obviously, it's Nigeria that is losing because we are the ones that produce, and they are the ones that buy from us.
Some of your members transport goods through Benin Republic instead of Nigerian ports. Why is this so?
Well, since the President Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR announced the partial opening of the borders at Ilela, that's in Sokoto State, and Maradi in Katsina State, and the one in Megatari in Jigawa State, our traders, due to the congestion that is in Apapa ports, even though the federal government has created a committee that will decongest the port, but the congestion has been there for more than 5 years. And the time that it takes one to clear his goods and transport them to Upper North is long. While if you are going through Cotonou, it will take you less time. And we pay the duties at the borders designated by the federal government. So the federal government is not losing revenue, but we get more return on capital employed over time in our businesses.
Okay. Is there any alternative routes apart from Niger for goods coming from Morocco, Algeria, and Burkina Faso?
Well, as at now, as far as we are concerned, the only border post that we are more concerned with is the goods that we actually bring in, because the goods that we bring in through Cotonou post are more than the goods that we bring in through Algeria and Morocco. We are more concerned about those ones, and it was those ones that we are more concerned about because we have more than 2,000 containers between Cotonou and Niger. There is a border post at Ilo in Kebbi State that we are hoping and praying for the federal government to designate that border to be open. It's in a border between Nigeria and Benin Republic. We want that border to be open. We are praying for the NSA office on the other side and the federal government to open that border for us so that we can import our goods through there and pay our duties and dues at that location. Maje Ilo is in Kebbi State.
Thank you for your thoughts, Ibrahim Yahaya Dankata, Chairman Arewa Economic Forum, for coming on NTA International News.
Thank you for having me.
The United Nations has successfully completed the transfer of more than 1.1 million barrels of oil from the FSO Safer supertanker off Yemen's Red Sea coast. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports that the UN's action is aimed at preventing the immediate threats of a massive spill.
The Safer has been at risk of breaking up or exploding for years. A major spill from the vessel, observers say, would have resulted in an environmental and humanitarian disaster.
I'm very pleased and grateful to join the United Nations Secretary General, to join my colleagues in the United Nations system, but also with gratitude to the many who have helped to make this operation possible, and to report that we have completed the transfer of the over 1.1 million barrels of oil.
The full cargo of oil aboard the FSO Safer has been pumped onto the replacement vessel in a ship-to-ship transfer, which began on July 25.
This is a major disaster averted. It was a ticking time bomb, as many called it, and it could have destroyed hundreds of thousands of livelihoods. It could have affected the shipping up the Red Sea towards the Suez Canal. It could have destroyed biodiversity and fisheries for a quarter of a century.
After 8 years of waiting and 2 years of intense work, the global community has come together through 23 member states of the United Nations, through the private sector and the global public to achieve a significant milestone here today.
United Nations Development Program UNDP, which contracted the ship-to-ship transfer, is executing the operation. Adebola Brookslyn, NTA News.
A devastating landscape in Jian has killed several persons in China and destroyed cars and roads in the Shaanxi province. Chinese authorities confirmed at least 21 persons dead, while 6 are still missing. Following the natural disaster which occurred on Friday, houses were destroyed and power cuts are affecting about 900 households in the area. Typhoon Kanun has affected various Asian countries in the last few days, causing fatalities, floodings, and destruction to infrastructure in China, South Korea, and Japan. Beijing has ordered the evacuation of over 17,000 people in Ansha. And in India, at least 29 persons have been reportedly killed in India's Himachal Pradesh state in the past 2 days as a result of the torrential rains. Landslides triggered by the rains have flattened buildings, including a temple thronged with worshippers. Some residents have been evacuated to safer shelters. Now talking health. The World Health Organization is raising concerns about efficacy, quality control of traditional products and procedure-based therapies. This is coming ahead of the Traditional Medicine Global Summit later this month in India. Adebola Brookslyn reports.
Slated for 17 and 18 August 2023, the Traditional Medicine Global Summits will explore the role of traditional, complementary and integrative medicine in addressing pressing health challenges and driving the progress in global health and sustainable development.
We believe that our health is connected with the environment. That's why I think it's more towards the one health, one planet concept. That's why traditional medicine can actually much to offer in health promotion, disease prevention, as well as managing of lifestyle-related non-communicable diseases.
The summit, to be co-hosted by the government of India, will explore ways to scale up scientific advances and realize the potential of evidence-based knowledge in the use of traditional medicine for people's health and well-being around the world.
This paradigm shift that's needed or that's come about in healthcare has 3 elements. And is it science? Is it tradition? And we are saying it's actually a wonderful moment to bring those together.
WHO will be presenting emerging findings from the 3rd Global Survey on Traditional Medicine and the updated Traditional Medicine Strategy 2025 to 2034 as requested by the World Health Assembly in May 2023.
Is it safe? Will it work? These are the 2 key questions in any treatment that people need to probe. And everything is a risk and a benefit. You know, what we need to know is what are the benefits of the traditional approach, what are the risks of that approach, how does that relate to other potential interventions that could be given?
Scientists and other experts will lead technical discussions on research, evidence and learning, policy, data and regulations, innovation and digital health, as well as biodiversity, equity and indigenous knowledge. Adebola Brookslane, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA. President Bola Tinubu has felicitated with former governor of Rivers State, Dr. Peter Odili, on his 75th birthday. The president joins the celebrants, family, friends, and well-wishers in celebrating a life defined by remarkable achievements, accomplishments, and unwavering focus on human capacity development and political mentorship. The president recognized Governor Odili's long-standing commitment to public service through his mentorship of future leaders across Nigeria, as well as his uncanny ability to galvanize diverse groups towards achieving a common objective. These qualities, the president noted, have distinguished him as a prominent leader and statesman. A statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Galale, said President Tinubu applauds Odili's pioneering role in advancing medical practice and education in the country. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is planning new measures to check the deteriorating value of the naira and the foreign exchange market. These measures are coming following the meeting between President Bola Tinubu and the acting CBN governor at the State House. The acting governor of the Apex Bank revealed that the president is concerned about the current realities in the foreign exchange market activities in the parallel market.
To stabilize and what could be done to improve the liquidity in the market and also the goings-on in the various other markets, including the parallel market. He is concerned about its impact on the average person, since unfortunately a lot of activities that we do which are purely local are still referenced to exchange rates in the parallel market. We've discussed and I've shared with him what we're doing to improve supply. If you look at the official market, you'll find that that market has been fairly stable and the spreads or the difference have not fluctuated as much. We do not believe that the changes going on in the parallel market are driven by pure economic demand and supply, but are topped by speculative demand from people. Some of the plans and strategies which I'm not at liberty to share with you mean sooner rather than later the speculators should be careful, because we believe the things we're doing, when they come to fruition, may result in significant losses to them. But my presence here is more about the concerns the president has and his need to know that we are doing something about it, assurances of which I have given him.
Away from Forex, research indicates that potatoes and cassava can reduce overdependence on wheat for flour in making bread and confectionaries. For this reason, the federal government is training master bakers and the youth on the use of potatoes and cassava flour. Musa Aliyu reports.
Demand for wheat for flour has become a major concern globally as supplies of the produce dropped due to the Russian-Ukraine war. This, therefore, is affecting the price of bread and other confectionaries in Nigeria. However, Nigerians have recognized that potatoes and cassava can replace wheat.
You can make pastries, you can make confectionaries from white flesh sweet potato, and you can use it as a food for diabetics.
With this innovation, the federal government, through the Institute of Industrial Research, FIRO, has commenced training of youths and master bakers on how to develop and use the produce.
FIRO has increased the varieties of bread available to us for consumption through its R&D efforts at developing local contents in bread making. The demonstration we are doing today is as a result of our R&D efforts at developing cassava and potato breads due to abundant availability of these raw materials in Nigeria.
Muhammad Sule Hassan is one of the beneficiaries of the training, says the initiative will change his perception about bread making.
Like person with disability like me, I have no doubt with the training so far, I can go anywhere, provided the means is there.
Over the years, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has been campaigning for the inclusion of 10% cassava flour in bread making. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Moving on to security, the armed forces are upscaling joint security operations to stem criminality across the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this is the focus of Exercise Stranex, a joint course for military services war college holding at the National Defense College, Abuja.
The Nigerian armed forces are combating diverse internal security challenges in different parts of the country. These threats said to have been amplified by the nation's porous borders and proliferation of small and light weapons are sometimes complex and require a multifaceted approach to tackle.
This brought about the harmonization.
This course, which services war colleges tagged Exercise Stranex, is aimed at enhancing joint security operations in view of the dynamic and complex security environment.
Combating the challenges posed by contemporary security threats require realistic and effective joint operations. Exercise Stranex is designed to practice and develop participants' understanding and skills in the art of strategic decision-making during crisis management, using the elements of national power.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, charged security agencies to be proactive in the ongoing efforts to secure Nigeria's territorial integrity.
Jointness is way out. We need to train together, to work together so that we can get results together. No single service or single parastatal can achieve success without the others. So what we are doing now is to bring our participants so that they come together with participants of National Defense College to work together to develop systems that will work for us in case of crisis.
The joint exercise is to, among other things, promote synergy among the land, sea and air components of the Nigerian Armed Forces, particularly during internal military security operations. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A Nigerian Air Force Mi-171 helicopter on a casualty evacuation mission crashed today, 14 August 2023, at about 1 p.m. near Chukuba village in Niger State. In a statement, NAF spokesperson Air Commodore Edward Gapkwet explains that the aircraft had departed Zungeru Primary School en route Kaduna, but was later discovered to have crashed near Chukuba village in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. Efforts are currently ongoing to rescue the crew and passengers on board the helicopter, while preliminary investigations have commenced to determine the probable cause of the crash. And now to sports. You made us proud, and even the world took notice. That's how Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu saluted members of the Super Falcons when she received them at the Villa, but back from the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo completes the story.
It was in this room that the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, joined by wife of the Vice President Nana Kashim Shettima and Senate President's wife Ekaite Akpabio, rooted for the Super Falcons, savoring moments of joy and enduring what one may call moments of mental suffering with their darling Super Falcons as they put up a good fight against the Lionesses of England. Now, in keeping with her promise to personally welcome the team, the First Lady received members of the Super Falcons, led by the President of the Nigerian Football Federation and their captain, to the State House. The pain of their early defeat at the round of 16 was a long-forgotten memory at the reception, as the mother of the nation, joined by other soccer moms, appreciated the team for displaying true Nigerian spirit at the Soccer Mundial.
You have not only represented Nigeria on the global stage, but have also become role models for our youth, especially young girls who now see their aspirations mirrored in you. I salute you today and welcome you back home, and our goodwill and best wishes go to other players who have gone back to their base. You gave your all and we stand with you and are so, so proud of you.
For her, victory is not only determined by the score sheet on the field of play, but more by the character and spirit on display.
Although the final results did not go your way, our way, the dedication and resilience you displayed on the pitch has filled even Mr. President, me and other Nigerians with immense respect and admiration.
Thanking the First Lady for her support and for honoring the team, NFF President Ibrahim Gusso said the Federation will focus on sports development and continue to